This was probably the best team I've ever been
And for Lehigh's
a part
basketball
of.
team is
We made sure to come with that positive attitude every day.
Everyone's like, you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. I was like, we're going to do it.
We're playing against Duke. Can you imagine if we beat Duke in this game?
In the Patriot League, traditionally, there's only one bid to go to the NCAA tournament, and it comes as an automatic qualifier.
This team was very talented. People remember that we played Kansas in 2010. It was the best team in the tournament going in and played them pretty tough. So this team had tasted the NCAA tournament.
I remember very specifically a meeting that I had with both C.J. McCollum and Jordan Hamilton. It was after we had taken a break from the season prior, and immediately Jordan started telling us, here are the things that we're going to do, coach, to get ready for next year. And I think that was one of the first indications that I had that it could be a pretty special season.
We did everything together. Like we hung out together. We went out to dinner together. We studied together. Like we were extremely close, and I think everyone on the team rooted for everyone else.
What we were trying to obtain as a team was bigger than just ourselves individually, and we bought into the system.
We had a pretty special player that could really settle everything down. And when things were really a challenge, or where things were very sticky and tight, somebody like C.J. McCollum could really step to the forefront. The Patriot League championship had to be crowned, and we had to go through Bucknell in order to hoist a trophy and cut down the nets and represent Lehigh University in the NCAA tournament. And that was an absolutely phenomenal battle between two excellent teams that played very well together.
I had been following them all year, and it's one of those things. I remember watching the conference championship game at Bucknell, and they win, and we say, okay, Lehigh's going to the big dance.
the practices of preparation.
It's a cool feeling just because you always watch it as a kid growing up. You watch the NCAA tournament, Selection Sunday. You kind of go through that process of seeing, all the conference championship winners, punch their tickets.
When we saw that we were playing against Duke, there was really a conviction from that group of people who were gathered together as a team that we had a chance to win.
We felt like we were as good as just about any team in the NCAA, especially when teams were guard heavy and facing injuries in their front court.
The excitement, man, all the fans, everybody kind of texting us, tweeting, all that stuff around that time was exciting.
Now we had to regroup. We had to bottle up all our energy. We had to regather our focus and now be ready to compete against a team that nobody really gave us a chance of beating.
The road to the Final Four continues through Greensboro, North Carolina.
I seriously just got the chills just like thinking about it, because this is like a huge deal. I had never been in that big of an arena for a college basketball game in my university. So just going in there, like you walk into any big game, you just, you take it all in, you take that deep breath, and you're like, wow, we're here. It's crazy. And then seeing our team come out, the brown and white on the court, I was like, that's us.
We run out, I remember, and we see this little brown square just like in the corner.
And I'm standing around and I'm looking like, okay, I don't see a lot of brown here, but there's a Lehigh shirt, there's a Lehigh shirt.
And it's a sea of light blue. There's a whole section filled with brown, a bunch of light blue, and it was almost like a home game for us in North Carolina because all the UNC fans stayed and rooted for us.
North Carolina fans at the game were asking us where Lehigh is. They'd say, hey, I love your sign, can I have one? Sure, here you go. And they'd say, okay, hey, by the way, where's Lehigh? And we'd say, oh, well, it's in Pennsylvania, about an hour north of Philly.
So getting set now, Miles Plumlee, the jump against Gabe Knutson, and the Blue Devils will control it at 27-6.
First play of the game, Duke has the ball. We're all feeling confident. Mason Plumlee catches the ball at the top of the key, pump fakes, takes one dribble left, and jumps. And I think to myself, why didn't he just take another dribble? He could have dunked it. But he jumped so high and he's so athletic that he just kept going.
Rising and throwing it down.
What? This is going to be a long game. That's what Duke is. It's 2 points, we moved on. It's not a big deal, but at the same time, we were just kind of like, all right, we're going to have to play.
CJ had a move. He came off and went like through his legs, maybe behind the back, through the legs again, and just stepped back 15-footer on the baseline. I remember watching replays of that, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, we all knew that he was good and had a chance to make the NBA, but after watching that,
the pressure was on them. We're just a small school that's not supposed to win. So as the game is closer later on in the game, you can see them kind of tighten up.
So like in the first half of the game, people are asking where Lehigh is, and then in the second half of the game, it's trending on Twitter worldwide, and everybody knows where it is. There were 48.5 seconds left, and they were inbounding the ball. It was B.J. Bailey was the inbounder, and it's off of a timeout. So instead of being on the baseline, he's on the sideline. He had a tall guy guarding him, guarding the inbounds pass, and then there were 8 guys, the other 8, basically bunched up right in the top of the key, setting like a big mosh pit pick for each other. And Gabe Knutson, who was our tallest guy on the floor, it was like a football play where he just comes out and runs like a curl and just sprints to the basket. And you can see this happening in slow motion where B.J. Bailey sees him running and he turns his whole body.
he just kind of wound up and threw it without a step. And he's such a strong guy, and just kind of lobbed it over the top. And I remember catching it, two-hand bounce it, and like look down like, oh my gosh, like do not mess this up.
And then dunks it, and it took like 2 seconds off the clock. And I think a lot of people are saying, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, okay, hey, great, it worked out, nice pass, yep, keep doing that.
For me, it was rewarding because you put in so much time. You want to be able to make the plays at the end of the game because that's why you're here.
On the losing end. And what you have here, folks, one of the all-time shockers. Lehigh defeats Duke in the NCAA basketball tournament.
The game ended, and as soon as the final buzzer hits and you hear Jim Nantz, one of the all-time shockers, and they pan across the Lehigh section, and it was me, and I'm like jumping up and down, clapping over my head. I had told friends jokingly, I was like, hey, keep an eye out for me on TV.
Everyone was crying and was excited, but somehow my emotion got caught. And then I go back after the game's done, I check my phone. My phone is just flooded with texts, Facebook messages.
In Arkansas once, but Lehigh has beaten Duke by the score of 75.
The interesting thing that struck me was the team had more of a controlled celebration.
That we weren't just showing up to say that we were in the NCAA tournament. We were coming to be competitors. And acting like we had been there before really meant that, this is a team that came to compete, to win.
I expected us to win as an individual, and if you didn't believe it, don't show them that you didn't believe it until you get back in the locker room, just because I always felt like it's just one game.
They're going a little crazy over there at Lehigh. Catherine Hawley is live on the campus in Bethlehem with reaction tonight. How's it going, Catherine?
Hey, Robin. Erupted today after
A lot of people forget we had to play again in 2 days. So, but when we came back, the support was overwhelming.
We were a family. Everything that we pushed for a year before the season began, we pretty much developed our goals and our standards and what we were expecting out of each other individually as well as a team on and off the court.
We're an example of a team that played together, had great chemistry, and we had 7 or 8 really good players that could step on the court and be interchangeable. So, I think that was part of the reason why we were able to be so successful.
Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but to my teammates, I wish I could be there with you guys celebrating this 5-year anniversary, and to the university.
There were over 8 million people that were watching that game live. Everybody throughout the entire country heard about the story of Lehigh University and what we were able to accomplish. There's nothing that has or potentially could match the volume of visibility and the echoing of a great message and a great story of Lehigh that Lehigh basketball was able to provide for this historic and prominent university on a national and global scale.
We have so many alumni all across the world, all across the East Coast, and they're always watching and supporting us. So for them to be able to talk about how we upset Duke is a big conversation. Everybody remembers where they were at during the Duke game. Either you watched it or you didn't watch it, but you know where you were at.